Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there's an Elden Ring trailer. I don't know how I didn't see anything about this until literally like an hour ago, when I saw that there was going to be one today. Yeah, apparently we're getting a DLC trailer today. We're going to react to it in 30-some seconds. This is crazy. I do want to say that I'm sick, so I apologize for my voice. I haven't been sick like most of the winter, but of course the day that the Elden Ring trailer comes out, I'm feeling under the weather, so I guess that's just how it goes. But this is pretty hype. I was not expecting this at all, so I'm very surprised and very excited. And yeah, we're watching this live, so let's see how it goes. I'm interested to see what they got for us here today. It's called Shadow of the Erdtree. Sounds super cool. We're gonna watch it through pretty silently, and then maybe maybe I'll do some pausing. We'll see.
Peggy 16.
Yes, it is. All right, let's go. Turn it down a little.
Pure and radiant, he wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men.
Why is it in Arabic?
There is nothing more terrifying.
Does it have to do with Mikola? That's what I was hoping they would do, because he's like the only of the demigods we don't know anything about.
In that forsaken place, blood must spill. Blood of your fellows, the Erdtree faithful.
They were never saints. They just happened to be on the losing side of a war.
That looks so cool. That does not look cool at all. Dude, what? That's a sick looking boss, dude. They're trying to capture Ludwig. That's such a Ludwig looking boss. Oh my gosh, does that look so Ludwig. Is that it? Oh, we're live. I forgot we were live.
Wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so
This is Mikola.
bereft of life?
Was that Mikola? What is that? Ash of War.
I presume you too are keen to know just what kind Mikola is doing here.
It is Mikola. This DLC had to be about Mikola. Is that a boss? Is that another boss? Is this Mikola?
Touch the withered arm and travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind. May we meet again.
Is that June? The end of June. And there's Mikola. Wait, it's not Mikola. What does that figure say? Statue of Mesmer the Impaler. With a snake. I have to go back and see if the one that was talking was a different model. That was it? That was nuts. This looks great. Okay, let's go through it really quick.
16.
I'm not going to do it in too much detail. I'm going to turn it way down. So,
Pure and radiant, he wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men.
shrive clean. Well, because we're talking about Mikola, clearly. So he's doing something somewhere. Maybe they just didn't show any of Mikola's boss fight. But I don't like this Impaler seems like, is the Impaler actually Mikola? Is that going to be like a second phase? It seems weird that they would make a model for him. Like, I feel like they had the model of Millennia and all that stuff with the first game. This guy doesn't seem like an important enough character to make a model about. So this is, okay, this reminds me of the Ring City already. It's like the same thing as the original world, but like a little bit darker and funky looking. Like, I feel like this kind of looks like the cool off in the distance like landscape of the Ring City. So, you know, it's like a darker Erdtree. It's the DLC is called Shadow of the Erdtree. It's like darker. You can see like some buildings like falling apart, and it looks like some force either going up into the sky or coming down from it. That's a cool looking character model. And they're saying we're in a forsaken place. This looks cool. Like, I feel like that kind of swampy look is cool. This looks like a really cool area. Would love some more fire areas. I was always let down because I feel like the primary concept of the Blasphemous. What's Reichardt's area even called? I can't remember. Volcano Manor. Volcano Manor was such a cool concept for me, and I don't think the area lives up to the hype that I had for it. Like, it's really cool and all, and I love like the fire aspect. I don't think it was utilized well enough. I would love another fire area. This is such a cool. I hope there's some fire stuff in here because it looks pretty red. You know, that's a cool. That's such a cool looking enemy. It's obviously just the same thing as like the other giants, but with like a fire aspect. But man, that character model is just incredible. This thing looks terrible. I mean, your classic brain-sucking, grabbing enemies that everybody hates. This boss looks sick as heck. Okay, they're trying to do Ludwig here. There's just no doubt about it in my mind. It's like a deformed. Like, his movements look similar. We'll see it here. I'm trying to figure out if this is like a grafted enemy, because he looks a whole lot like either like Godric the Grafted, but he also looks like Moog and Morgott. Like, he looks kind of like Omni, but he's got the head of like a lion thing here. He's got a breath attack. He's got some lightning, the classic lightning slam that every enemy has in this game. But I feel like he really gives like a vibe, the same vibe as like of like Ludwig, just like the stylistically like long, kind of like big deformed monster head boss. So hopefully he lives up to that kind of hype, because Ludwig is one of the greatest bosses ever created in video game history. Okay, so this is Miquella. Wait, is this the Impaler guy? I think it's the Impaler guy. That's got to be Miquella. He's got the red hair. He looks sick. Sick character model. I gotta compare this character model. Okay, so he's got like a wing. He's got like a long impaling spear. It has to be the Impaler guy. I'm telling you, my primary theory right now is that the Impaler guy has a second phase where it shows that he is actually just Miquella, but I could be wrong. I love that he's got a fire aspect too. Fire is such a cool. This is just PvP. These are like new Ashes of War. They got a Kung Fu Ash of War, which looks pretty cool. I don't care about crossbows, but thank you. So we've got a couple of things going towards the whole lion thing here. Or maybe that's more like a bear. Obviously that's, you know, the same thing as like what Moog had, as like these kind of faithful PvP style of enemies. What is that thing? That's a hippopotamus. It's a rhinoceropotamus. That's cool. This looks cool. That has to be a boss, right? It's in another one of those underground arenas like you fight the deer in. Yeah, 100%. It's like the same type of arena, big water. Is that a boss? It's so cool looking. What is he pulling out of his eye? That's so cool looking. Okay, this is the same. Yeah, this is the same character model. So his name's Mesmer the Impaler. That's a really incredible looking boss. So I'm gonna see this model again. Obviously they're gonna show us this. This is man, why am I so bad at names right now? Radagon and who's the person who's imprisoned under the Erdtree? The other half of Radagon. The literal main Marika, Queen Marika. This is Marika, right? That has to be. That character model is so cool. He looks so cool. It has to be Mikola. I mean, he's got an M name. I feel like they've already done that once with, like, Morgoth's whole thing where, you know, Market is just Morgoth with another name. So I feel like this is the same thing. Mesmer the Impaler. That's such a cool looking enemy, dude. That's such a cool looking enemy. He looks sick. That's it, kids. Is that it? Man. This looks great. I mean, we knew it was going to. So, I have very few concerns. I mean, it looks good. I'm hoping that the enemies are good. We know that they're going to be hard. It's in Elden Ring. I'd say this is my only concern. It's in Elden Ring, or From Software practice to make the DLC bosses harder and better. They just always are. The DLC for Dark Souls 3 gives us like 3 or 4 of the greatest bosses of all time. The DLC for Bloodborne gave us 3 or 4 of the greatest bosses of all time. And so it just continues to be this expectation with them. This looks like he has the potential to be one of the greatest bosses of all time. Like, it just clearly does. Even the other one, the lion looking thing, looks pretty good. So I'm hoping for the best with both of them. Surely there's going to be more than 2 bosses, unless they're doing multiple DLCs, like unless this is like an Ashes of Ariandel type thing, and they're doing 2 sets of DLCs, but I kind of doubt it. I want to see if this is $25 or how much they're asking for this. $30. It doesn't say. Oh, we have some, this might be useful. In the Land of Shadow, Mikola awaits the return of his promised lord. Who is his promised lord? Like the Elden Lord? Is that us? The Land of Shadow, a place obscured by the Erdtree where the goddess Marika first set foot. A land purged in an unsung battle, set ablaze by Mesmer's flame. It was to this land that Mikola departed, divesting himself of his flesh, his strength, his lineage, of all things golden. Yeah, I was going to say DLC entrance in the Lord of Blood's boss room. That's actually a really great observation from this guy. He's 100% right. You'll probably enter through Mohg's boss room to go to Mikola's dream. It's Mohg time. So, 100% this looks great. Okay, so it seems like this Mesmer is a different guy. That makes me feel like if this is just one DLC, if Elden Ring is not going to have multiple DLCs, like the whole Ashes of Ariandel versus Ring City type deal, if it's going to have just one DLC, which I hope, I'm not Googling it right now, but I hope that's the case because I just feel like it's better that way. It's going to have more than 2 bosses for sure if it's only one DLC. I would think at least 4. But, I mean, it could be 3, and I think it'd still be pretty satisfying if you've got 3 bosses with 3 whole areas or something like that. I'd also assume that they have, like, mini bosses, as in bosses that have a health bar but aren't, you know, big, you know, memorable cutscene bosses, because that's, you know, a bit of staple of Elden Ring already. I feel like this guy, I keep forgetting that this is, like, a live stream, but where was that guy? Let's see if I can find him. The guy in the underwater arena, to me, looks like that way. Or maybe this guy, too. This might be a main boss. This might be Mikola himself. I don't know. He said he stripped himself of everything gold, but I don't know. I feel like Mikola has to be a boss. Like, there's just no way you go through the game without fighting all the demigods, right? It seems like a thing that they would do. This hippopotami-rhinoceros looks so cool. That's such a cool looking enemy. This guy to me is gonna have a boss health bar. Wait, he looks like Elden Beast. We just picked up on a thing here. Look at that. He's got Elden Beast's face, like a kind of wispy, waspy, little swooshy looking face. Well, now I don't like him anymore because he makes me think of Elden Beast. But anyways, like, I'm assuming he's gonna have a boss health bar, but maybe not a cutscene. That's just a theory. A game theory. But anyways, I think that this looks amazing. My primary concern would be, we want these bosses to all be challenging, but I want them to be challenging in the good old-fashioned way. I mean, I don't know if I've uploaded a strict critique of Elden Ring, but I agree with most of the people who dislike the artificial difficulty of Elden Ring's bosses. Some of their bosses have too much artificial difficulty, too many invulnerable attacks, too many ridiculous things. I think Millennia is a perfect example of this. Just not what I want in my bosses. And so what I don't want them to do, because I think their motivation to create Millennia was that they wanted to live up their reputation of having just the hardest bosses, and they wanted Elden Ring because it's a new game to have the hardest boss. And the DLCs also always have challenging, memorable bosses, and that's their thing. The hardest boss is always at the end of the DLC. I mean, you have Dark Eater Midear, you have Ariando and Frida, you have Gale in Dark Souls 3, which are all contenders for some of the hardest bosses in that game outside of like Nameless King. I think at least 2 of those are harder than Nameless King. And then in Bloodborne, of course, you have Orphan of Cause, and I'm trying to think. I guess you could put like Ludwig and Lawrence in that category. Those are both very difficult bosses as well. So challenging bosses are staples of the DLC, often more challenging than main game. So my fear is that they try to make either this Impaler guy or Mikola or whatever fight it's going to be. They're going to try to make it artificially difficult like they did with Millennia, and they're going to try to make another of the hardest bosses you've ever fought. And stupid mechanics like health regen or attacks that you can't dodge or block, which I think are just dumb. So that's my only concern. I hope that they maybe heard some feedback from people on those things, and I want a boss that's difficult because he has like 25, different varieties of movesets, and you have to stay in the fight and memorize all his movesets to dodge effectively and to learn him. Like, I'm willing to fight a boss for 3 hours to learn them, but I want it to be that I'm learning his moves so that I can effectively dodge or block each of one of them at exactly the right time to get me like a window to hit back, versus learning the perfect thing to do to use like every single piece of equipment in your inventory to avoid Millennia's one attack, and then be desperate to not get hit because she heals off of hitting you, which is just, I just think it's a silly boss mechanic. So that's just my opinion on it, and I don't want them to try and do that. I don't want them to try and one-up with some ridiculously difficult boss in that vein. I do want a difficult new bosses to learn. And I just don't want them to go to the Millennia route. I'll take Radagon. I'll take not Radagon and Elden Beast. Make sure we make that distinction. I'll take Radagon. I'll take Godfrey's a good boss. I'll take Moog. Moog's the best boss in Elden Ring. If we got another Moog, which is this Impaler guy, kind of gives me that vibe. If we get another boss like Moog, I would be satisfied, because Moog is one of the greatest bosses ever created, I think, and he should be considered that way. So. That's my thoughts. This was crazy. This looks great. I'm so excited, and I just hope that this is as good as it looks, and I think it'll be good no matter what. Those are my small concerns, but this looks amazing. It just looks amazing. The visuals, the character designs, everything looks like FromSoft quality. You could tell they've put focus into this. It looks great. I'm very excited. Thanks for watching.